So nini, na nini, the truth and the way. Tata Nzami, Modimo, your Congo we say. So nini, na nini, the truth and the way. It's a complicated story that you need to know, with layers of deception. It feels like vertigo, vertigo, vertigo. Kiti cha bokonzi, ileki makasi. Kiti cha bokonzi, ileki makasi.
Remember in the Matrix movie, people asleep. They control the minds of the helpless and the weak. We were stolen, we were kidnapped from our motherland, then conditioned in the Matrix. So we don't understand. They stripped us of our ancient language and our Bantu history. Taught us different foreign tongues and ripped apart our families.
So nini, na nini, the truth and the way. Tata Nzami, Modimo, your Congo we say. So nini, na nini, the truth and the way. Tata Nzami, Modimo, your Congo we say. It's a complicated story that you need to know, with layers of deception. It feels like vertigo, vertigo, vertigo. Kiti cha bokonzi, ileki makasi. Kiti cha bokonzi, ileki makasi.
The wicked ones devise their plan to destroy the Bantu nation. They demonized Africa and built walls of separation. They colonized Africa to hide our truth about the Congo kingdom, the Bantu roots, the land of milk and honey. It's in our holy book. In sub-Saharan Africa, go take a look.
So nini, na nini, the truth and the way. Tata Nzami, Modimo, your Congo we say. So nini, na nini, the truth and the way. Tata Nzami, Modimo, your Congo we say. It's a complicated story that you need to know, with layers of deception. It feels like vertigo, vertigo, vertigo. Kiti cha bokonzi, ileki makasi. Kiti cha bokonzi, ileki makasi. So this project is about the Bantu truth. There's an awakening happening where our people here in America, in the diaspora, are beginning to wake up to who they truly are in terms of their African identity. We are Bantus. So I wrote this song to show the history of where we come from, our language, and to show the levels of the matrix that's happening that have deceived our people. So I want to teach through this song. I want people to come back to the Most High. I want them to know the ancient names that we call our Heavenly Father. So this is a project that's very spiritual, it's historical, it's cultural, and it's educational, and it's empowering, so that we know that we have a Heavenly Father that has not forgotten us, and that while we're here in this diaspora, in this beast system, there are going to be some changes made. The Most High is waking up the people. and teaching true history of black folks who are in the diaspora, in the four corners of the earth, as
bana solele mulweni bantwana babawo oswe mazulwini muriega shiana shiangai mpo salama watoto wa Mungu. Yes, it's that time we sit and rightly divide the word of truth. And today, Banabeto, it's a special one. We had to do this one because you've heard the song Kiti Bokonzi by our very own Bantu Queen TALEEA Collins. So we sought and we had to meet the genius that made this track happen. So for the first time, Banabeto, I'd like you to meet COURTLAND HANKINS. Sorry for butchering your name.
No problem.
Also joining us is our queen. We want to understand the inspiration behind this amazing track, Kiti Bokonzi, because when my queen approached me with the idea of doing her poetry as a song, I'm a low-key producer myself, but not as good as COURTLAND. So I told her she needed somebody more professional. So COURTLAND, greet Banabeto, kings and queens.
Yes, sir. Could you repeat that greeting again?
You can say Nusiemi betwa bumbote.
Okay.
Nusiemi.
Nusiemi.
Nusiemi, yes. That's Kikongo.
All right. Kikongo.
So I would love to know, my king, how did you get to a point like you wanted to be part of this project? Like,
well, I think to be honest with you, I think it's not my hand. It's a hand that guides me as part of a larger collective. I'm a true believer in that. So, Ms. TALEEA and I, we've worked together before on a few projects. So we worked pretty well together. And, she came to me with this project, I guess, based on our history. But this one was a little different than what we've worked on in the past in terms of its content, in terms of its message. So me being, at least a mid-level conscious, African man here in the United States of America, the message resonated with me. So I was, I was very happy that I could be a part of it, just from, again, the message that was being expressed. I think it's as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the most, if not the most important messages that our people need to hear in terms of a reconnection and a recollection to our roots. So from that standpoint, I really think it's more of a divine guidance that brought it to, brought the pieces together to to create what the Most High wanted to create.
Kembo. Talking of this work of art, my queen.
Yes.
What really? We know your inspiration was from Tata and Zambi, but what drives you to this point that because it's an amazing song. The first time you sent it to me, I thought it was a work of art. And with COURTLAND working, especially working with let's just be honest, because there's an ideology of the motherland that you have been given, and taking that and mapping it onto this track. How was it for you?
Well, again, it started as a poem, and it's actually a series of poems. And so I knew I wanted to have an impact because people just, as African people, we love music, we love rhythm, we love dance. So I said, I need to capitalize on what our people already naturally love and you utilize that particular modality to inspire my people. So I said, you know what, I want to do this as a song. And so that's where it came from. I know that rhythm and music and song and dance is a big part of our culture, and so that was very important for me to like come up with a musical like outlet for this particular poem. So I kind of reconstructed it from a poetry to a song. I had to delete some lines out of the poems and sort of reconstruct it so that it fit the framework of a song. And then Cortland being a genius, he always reminds me of certain things in like um, constructing like bars because like when I do rap or when I do any kind of inspirational vocal thing, I don't really know about rapping and bars and 16 bars and 18 bars. I just like let it go. You know what I mean? So I knew so Colton helped, he sort of helped mold me into like understanding, okay, these are the counts, Leah. Every time you do this is bar one. And then two, I'm like, okay, so I can get this rhythm going on. So he was really great with just kind of guiding me. And Colton is just a genius when it comes down to interpreting like what you want because I knew that I wanted it to merge both continents. I wanted it to merge my brothers and sisters, the African, sounds. And I wanted like sort of that hip hop flavor, the R&B that we bring over here in the diaspora from our experiences being here in the divided states, as they call it. So we have that R&B hook thing that we bring to the table. So I knew that Cortland, being a genius, that he would be able to merge those two. So I just let him go with it. I just gave him a sort of like a flow of like how I would rap it because I don't rap fast. Like I wanted this song to be very slow so that you could meditate on every word, every sentence, and then remember it. It wasn't about like spitting to me. It was about like, okay, I want you guys to hear this sentence, digest those words and those verbs and that rhythm and that power and that stress, and then receive it. And so he followed my rhythm in terms of how I flow, how I rap. Because I really don't consider myself a rapper. I just consider myself a vocal, enthusiast. If I'm excited about something or the Most High puts a passion in me, eventually, Brother Jacoby, I'm going to start rapping about it. That's how I am. I'm going to start rapping about it, singing about it, writing poetry about it. Because I just like, when he put this fire in me, I was like, When I realized that sub-Saharan Africa was our holy land, it just blew me away as I began to become awakened to these truths and the different layers of the deception. So it was very powerful for me to, have good music behind the project. So Cortland did an amazing job.
My king, when I want to know,
thank you,
song,
TALEEA.
yeah, this song came. You did this song in 3 versions. We will be releasing the R&B version of Kiti Bonkonzi after this interview. So how are you able to move through that? The idea comes. She's the brainchild of the song, but you're the chef. You cooked it. You knew where to put the salt. You knew where to put the pepper. You knew when to add the onions and all that. So what are we to expect from the R&B version for those of us that have not yet had it?
Well, the versions only differ in the vocal. From the vocal standpoint, the music is consistent, is the same. So what you're going to hear musically is the same. It's just a different vocal arrangement between the different versions. So from that standpoint, I'm a little more removed from that creatively, because that's where the vocalist and TALEEA and the vocalist kind of come up with the arrangements of how they're going to express the words, whether it's going to be singing, whether it's going to be rapping, whether it's going to be a combination of both. So, but musically, we're using the same bedrock.
And I have to ask this because this awakening, this consciousness is something that is happening across. Had you encountered the awakening before working with TALEEA on this song?
Not as I had TALEEA send me information, YouTube links and things before I started to actually create the track. Now, like I said, I'm mid-level conscious, so there were certain things that I was aware of, not as in depth and as specific to the Bantu lineage, the spirituality, and the history. My level of historical knowledge is probably maybe, like I said, a little more general or broader, but conceptually and intuitively, I've known for a long time that the story of the Bantu is one that is true. It's real. It just makes sense to me, to my spirit. Like I said, intuitively, I've known it for quite some time, and I think it's extremely important that that God's people make the connection
and come back home, because we keep telling you to come back home, to come back home, to come back home. Now, our community, the Bantu community in the diaspora, uses music to express. Do you see yourself working on more projects in the Bantu awakening with other artists?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't given it a whole lot of thought, but like I said, it resonated with me, and I'm kind of letting the spirit, guide and bring things to me. Here's the truth of the matter. I've created a platform called the President of Hip Hop, right? And I call myself the President of Hip Hop. And the mission of this platform that is still being put together is to utilize, hip hop is an incredible and a phenomenal force that is credited to being started here in the South Bronx, but it's now global and is an expression and an art form and a tool that is used by any and everybody throughout this globe. Its power of influence is unmatched. And the President of Hip Hop platform's mission is to ensure that we utilize this gift that we've been gifted and have then re-gifted to the world to first empower Black people, African people, and then by extension to empower the world, because an empowered African people equals an empowered world, period. So,
well said, my king, well said.
So at the end of the day, how that comes about, from this platform, and who I end up connecting with is yet to be seen. That's going to be part of the journey. So to get back to the root of your question, yes, I can see myself working with those within the Bantu nation, those of us that are already know and have the knowledge of being a part of this community, and those that don't yet. So because it aligns with the mission. Because first and foremost, reconnecting to your roots, you can't be empowered if you don't have the knowledge of self, period. So the first step to empowerment is knowledge of self. So if my connecting with the community equates to that, then I'm looking forward to it.
And we look forward to more amazing tracks, my king, more amazing. So my queen, what should we expect next from this production?
Well, again, I'm gonna continue looking at those poems that I wrote and forming. I'm gonna, make more songs from the poems, and I see some different genres like reggae, sort of like music being merged into the poetry as well, the songs. Um, I see some poetry and rap combined, so I kind of think about that group called Floetry. Like remember the old group called Floetry, how the sister would do a poem and then the other one would sing. So I that happening with some of the poetry, and I also see children involved. I see like encouraging kids and children and young adults to kind of like utilize this poetry to to rap and sing through too. So it's endless. The possibilities are endless. There's so many different things that can be done. But I just know that I'm committed to putting this word out, on Tatanzami, put a fire inside me. And I just want people to know. They just have to understand who they are, that we are Bantus, we are the chosen nation. We're above all nations on this planet Earth. And the Most High loves us because of our faithful forefather, Abraham. And because of that, it just touches my heart to know that, he's his hand is in the mix, and he's here. He's here. He's gonna redeem us from this situation, and so I'm just committed to that process, committed to making sure I blast this message. And that's what I'm committed to doing.
And we look forward to that because my king, this was nothing short of a magical track, because the first time I heard it, I was like, yes, this is it. And at Bantu Re-Education TV, we are all about raising this consciousness. And we are honored that you even accepted to do an interview, because people need to understand that when these projects are put out there, they are the people that put in their time, they put in the work, and they do it because they believe in what we are doing. So my king, we honor you.
Thank you.
May the mighty one continue to lead you into more truth, and to work with more projects like this, because what we have out there in the Babylonian system, we have music that is just glorifying the other world, the vices. We need more positive music that is of praiseworthy, music that exalts the Most High. In South Africa, we would know him as Sonini Nanini. In the Congo, we call him Tatanzambi. You go to East Africa, Murungu, Ngai, Mwenenyaga, among the Agikoyo, or Mulungu, among the Luya. Our people have always known of the existence of a mighty one. And when we look at across the cultures in sub-Saharan Africa, we find there's something distinct. And you, from the house of Yaoundé, which you know as Judah, because we believe that all those that were taken into captivity, your ancestors, came from the house of Judah. And we appreciate the fact that you're using these talents to bring praise to Tata Nzambi. As I check my watch, it's Samba has just begun for us here, which is the day of rest. We thank you, my king, my queen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have to go blow the trumpet to signify the beginning of Samba, because we are Bantus. There's a voice in that trumpet. It's a way we were allowed to call out to the spirit of our Father, the spirit that is within us. So my king, I honor you for your time. My queen, I honor you for your time. I keep asking you, Banabeto, Ungubani, who are you? Know thyself. You can't make this stuff up. The awakening is happening, and more people are coming into truth as we continue to understand that the deception that the Mundele has brought upon the Bantu, the chosen seed. They talk about the tribes being lost. No, we were never lost. He just didn't want us to know ourselves. So, my king, my queen, Bayete, and I honor you.
Bayete.
Bayete.
Ayete.
Bayete.